This is a stimulus check update and daily news report. Looks like there are some big changes to the Build Back Better plan, at least with the messaging for it. Democrats are planning to take action either today or tomorrow. The CBO score officially comes out tomorrow, Friday, November 19th. Democrats say that they have enough votes to pass it in the House. I'll give you some video clips from the Democrat perspective as well as the Republican perspective, letting you know what's going on with that. In stimulus check news, one city just gave out $20,300 prepaid debit cards. We'll also go over this article right here. Some surprise stimulus checks are being sent out and families can get a $1,086 payment. Find out if you're eligible. Also, this one right here, stimulus check. Are you eligible for up to $10,000 in stimulus money? And I'll give you some other more important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Thursday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, high inflation is eating up the budgets of American households. If we look at this chart right here, you can see grocery prices going up and up compared to October of 2020 to October of 2021. The percentage changes are crazy high, and there's a lot of predictions of when this is going to end, when inflation is going to stop, but we haven't seen it stop anytime soon. So a lot of different cities and states are giving out their own stimulus checks as a result of this. So Santa Ana, California, to deliver $300 prepaid debit cards to 20,000 households using stimulus money. So this is from November 16th. City Council unanimously agreed to distribute all the cards. They're going to begin distributing those December 4th. So if you live in Santa Ana, looks like 20,000 people are going to get $300 cards there. So this article right here, surprise stimulus checks are being sent out and families could get $1,086 payment. So what this is referring to, it's very specific, but if you are a resident of New Hampshire, you may qualify a $1,080 $6 check if your household includes a family of 3 without an income. So that's very specific. There are some more general stimulus checks. So that's where the $1,086 comes from. Then this one, $2,000 Thanksgiving stimulus check demands mount as inflation surges cost of holiday meals. So prices are going up. Basically what this is talking about is the $2,000 per month stimulus check petition right here. So far, it has 2,961,000 signatures. This would be the general fourth stimulus check, but it has not made it into any package, not in the Build Back Better plan, not in any other package, not as a standalone bill. But the demand for it keeps going up every day. More and more people sign up for it. Then we have this one right here, stimulus check. Are you eligible for up to $10,000 in stimulus money? What this is referring to is rental assistance money, because some states are giving up to $10,000. Some states even a little more, but I guess 10,000 sounds a little more catchy and has people try to click and read these articles. So that's the summary of this article right here. If you appreciate me summarizing these daily stimulus check articles, giving you just straight up facts, no fluff, not dragging it out and taking up a whole video for it, hit the like button down below if you want me to do more of those. This way you know what's going on. Next, let's talk about the Build Back Better plan. What's going on with that, with all the stimulus provisions? So House schedule suggests Thursday debate for massive social spending bill. So today, Thursday, November 18th, is the last day that the House is actually in session. So if we look at this calendar right here, so you can see that November 18th is in purple. That's the last day before the House leaves on their Thanksgiving break, and they won't come back until Tuesday, November 30th. They said that they're not going to leave until they pass the bill, so we'll see what happens. And here's a quick video clip, and I'll give you some other updates after this clip. Here's a rundown.
Morning, Andrew. Well, first it was all about human infrastructure. Then it was about the care economy. Now, as costs do soar and concern over the price tag of this bill increases, Democrats have some new talking points for their $1.75 trillion social spending package.
More importantly, the Build Back Better Act, what we can do from the standpoint of fiscal policy, is going to cut costs.
Want to fight inflation? Support Build Back Better.
14 Nobel laureates in economics said it'll actually bring down the cost. It will reduce the deficit, and it will totally paid for, and it's going to reduce inflation.
Now, Democrats argue the bill could save families $500 a year in reduced electricity costs, lower the price of insulin from $600 to $35, and cap child care costs at 7% of income for most families. Democrats also like to cite an analysis by Moody's that shows the package would boost GDP and create jobs. But that same report also projects that inflation will be higher in 2022 and 2023 if this bill is passed, by as much as half a percentage point in the middle of next year. Now, Moody's calls concern about runaway inflation overdone and points out that higher inflation is a side effect of a stronger economy. But budget experts say the spending in this bill is front-loaded, while the improvements to productivity could take years to play out. And that means the inflationary pressure is greatest next year, just when the political risk is highest heading into the midterms. Joe.
Okay, Elon, thanks.
So Democrats are running out of time, and it looks like they're cherry-picking data from the Moody's score, and it doesn't look good for the CBO score coming as well. So when it comes to inflation, looks like that the Build Back Better plan is going to I guess, help with inflation according to the Democrats, but according to the study, not help with inflation. And she mentioned that they're front-loading the benefits, basically saying all the benefits of the Build Back Better plan, but meanwhile, those benefits are going to be stretched out over a decade, but saying it's all going to happen at once. So that's just, I guess, a neutral report there. So the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, to release full cost estimate for Build Back Better plan by November 19th, which is tomorrow, Friday, which pretty much means if the House does not vote on it today, most likely they're going to stay into their break to try to get it done. And according to one representative, the U.S. House to have enough votes to pass Build Back Better after CBO estimates. So I guess they're confident enough saying that whatever happens with the CBO estimate of the Build Back Better plan, CBO estimate is basically just saying whatever numbers they are, there's no spin on it, there's no partisan Republican, Democrat spin on these numbers. They should be neutral, saying that it will pass after that. Although it looks like the White House and Democrats may know something that everyone else doesn't. So the White House warned CBO won't say $1.75 trillion Build Back Better plan is paid for and tells Democrats to disregard the report, meaning that the report isn't fully out yet. It looks like Democrats may know something that everyone else doesn't. The numbers, they say that it's supposed to be fully paid for, but probably going to find out some big news tomorrow, Friday. Stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, Joe Manchin signals he's okay with Biden's spending vote this year. Sort of. So what he says here is, Joe Manchin says, "I'm not in charge of timing. Whatever they want to do is fine with me." When pressed if he is okay with bringing it up this year, Manchin added, "Whatever they want to do is fine. If we're going to vote, vote." He says nothing about voting for the package, basically saying if the Democrats want to vote for it, they can vote for it. He's probably still set in his ways. Here is the Republican perspective on the Build Back Better plan. Then I'll play you the Democrat perspective after that.
Meantime, President Biden hitting the road to sell the new infrastructure law. Yesterday, the president visited a New Hampshire bridge that's been in need of repairs for years. He said the new law will allow leaders to make the most significant investment in U.S. roads and bridges in 70 years. But this is only half the story, because now that infrastructure is done, congressional Democrats will turn their attention to the rest of Biden's Build Back Better agenda. Specifically, we're talking about his nearly $2 trillion social and climate spending bill. Joining us right now for more on all of this is Ohio Senator Rob Portman. He was the lead Republican negotiator during the talks over infrastructure. We're going to talk about what's next, but are you, is there any element of this that you're satisfied by, Senator?
In terms of the next bill, the Build Back Better, no. I think it's bad policy overall, and certainly terrible policy at a time when inflation is so high and we have such a big debt and deficit. So, look, I don't think we should be raising taxes on the economy, and I don't think we should be doing the stimulus spending. And you guys just talked about the fact that inflation is hitting everybody. The 0.9% inflation increase from last month, annualized, is over 11%. We'd be back to double digits for the first time, in 30 years. So, look, I think it's exactly the wrong thing to do. Infrastructure is very different. That legislation, as you know, is going to be long-term spending. Very little of it will be spent in the next couple of years. When it is spent, it's going to be spent on long-term capital assets, like that bridge in New Hampshire and other places, and that's going to be good for the economy. It makes our economy more efficient, more productive, and leads to higher growth and more jobs. So they're very different pieces of legislation, which is why we always wanted to separate them, and we have now.
Right.
We've passed the infrastructure bill, which is going to be good for the country, and I don't think we should move forward with the BBB at all, because I think it's exactly the wrong remedy for an economy that's already hurting in terms of inflation.
A much different opinion that the Republican Senator Rob Portman has than the Democrats, although Republicans were never on board with this to begin with, but Rob Portman does bring up some points the Democrats seem to ignore. Let me know your thoughts on that. When it comes to the Democrat perspective, here's Elizabeth Warren talking about how the Build Back Better plan will solve inflation, which is different than the Republican perspective, which they think it's going to increase inflation. Here's what Elizabeth Warren has to say here.
Reality, unemployment is at its lowest point since before the pandemic began. Prices are higher, which is never good. But Americans are also spending a record amount of money that was pent up during the pandemic, which Economics 101 will tell you drives prices up, aka inflation. And that conflict between how much we want to spend and what we can get into our hands quickly is contributing to how pessimistic many Americans feel about the economy. Consumer confidence is at its lowest level in a decade, according to a University of Michigan survey. And that lack of confidence has translated into a drop in Biden's approval rating, in part because Republicans are seizing on inflation and blaming Joe Biden for it personally, which is a fun twist after Republicans and Trump maxed out the national credit card on tax cuts for the super rich and a partial wall that Mexico was supposed to pay for. I'm joined now by Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, member of the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. And thank you, Senator, for being here. I want to let the White House has put out this sort of good news on today. And they said, here's what they said. Major retailers are saying that the shelves are well stocked. According to government statistics, there was a big jobs boom in the summer, not a bust. The ratings agency says Build Back Better will not add to inflation, and 10% of 5 to 11-year-olds are vaxxed in 10 days, which is way ahead of schedule. And in fact, the Washington Post does report that with revisions, the economy added 194,000 jobs in September. Headlines at the time called it ugly, dismal, and disappointing. It turns out it was 312,000 jobs when they revised it. So the economy isn't bad. It's just that people are mad because everything is late and things cost a little bit more. What do you make of all of this?
So I look at it this way. There are a lot of strong signs in this economy. And particularly coming out of the pandemic, a lot of good economic indicators. But I always try to look at what's happening to families all across this country. And keep in mind the big expenses here, Joy. Childcare. From the time I was trying to get childcare to today, childcare expenses have gone up nearly 1,000% for parents. Anybody who's trying to take care of an elderly parent and needs home-based care for it has seen the prices go through the roof. Anybody who's taken a prescription to have it filled has just seen huge price increases. These are big arc increases that really hit a budget hard. This is the reason that we need Build Back Better. If we really are talking about what affects people's pocketbooks every single day, week after week, year after year, it's these big expenses. And this is what the next bill that's teed up right now, House has got its toes right on the line to pass this thing, that will give us universal child care in pre-K, that's going to give us home and community-based care, and that's going to give us negotiation on drug prices and help bring those costs down. So I want to see us move to lower the costs for American families, for hardworking families. Way to do that. Pass Build Back Better. I hope this means the Republicans are ready to join us on it.
Oh, I wouldn't count on it.
So who do we believe, the Democrats or the Republicans, both with completely opposing opinions of how the Build Back Better plan will help inflation? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is right, that the Build Back Better plan will help with inflation and decrease it? Do you think Senator Rob Portman is right, that the Build Back Better plan will increase inflation? What are we supposed to believe here? Two completely different opposing views. Let me know your thoughts on that. That is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully brighten your day a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something that you should always do. Sometimes just sit on your bed or sit at a table on your counter and sit down and take 10 breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. because you need yourself to feel relaxed. And that's all I wanted to tell you for today. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. So in a week, I will be giving out those $200 checks. I have details to that down in the description below. Basically, you just got to be subscribed to this channel, plus my other two channels, Wise Buys and Wise Vibes. And then I pick the winners on the 26th of November. So yeah, you just follow those instructions down in the description below. If you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here for my other channels or down here for stimulus updates, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.